Can I ask our listeners something personal?
Ooh, starting strong today.
How long have you been studying English? 1 year, 5 years, maybe 10? And yet, when you speak, something still feels off. You can't explain it. Your grammar is fine. Your vocabulary is solid. But people still know immediately that English is not your first language.
I've had many students ask me about this.
Me too. Here's the thing, though. It's probably not your accent.
Not the accent?
Nope. And I know that sounds wild. We've all been told accent is everything. But today, we're going to show you that the real culprit is something completely different, something most classrooms never teach. And the good news? Once you know what it is, you can fix it fast. Welcome to No Borders English Studio. Okay, so let's start with a question. When you watch a movie and a character speaks with a strong Italian accent, or French, or Japanese, do you stop understanding them?
No, not usually.
Right, because accent on its own is not the problem. Think about Antonio Banderas, Penelope Cruz, Jackie Chan. Millions of people love listening to them. They don't sound American, but nobody says they sound unnatural.
So if accent isn't the real issue, what is?
Here's the analogy I always use with my students. Imagine a song you love. Now imagine someone playing all the right notes, but with completely the wrong rhythm.
Oh, that's painful. Every note is correct, but it sounds totally wrong.
Exactly. That's what happens when we only focus on pronunciation and ignore everything else. So today we're covering 3 real culprits: word stress, thought groups, and weak forms.
3 things. That's it. Let's go.
Culprit number 1, word stress. Now, English is what we call a stress-timed language, which means some syllables are strong and some are weak. And that pattern is not optional. It's the rhythm of the language.
Give us an example.
Okay, take the word photograph. Photograph. Stress on the first syllable. Now say photographer. Photographer. The stress completely moved. Same root word, totally different rhythm.
Let's do a few more.
Economy. Economy. But economic. Economic. Did you hear that? The stress jumped forward.
Here's another one. Present as a noun or adjective. Present. I have a present for you. But as a verb, present. I will present my ideas. Same spelling, completely different stress.
One more. Photograph, photographer, photographic. Photograph, photographer, photographic. The stress moves every single time the ending changes. And here's why it matters. When the stress lands in the wrong place, native speakers don't just hear an accent. Their brain has to work harder to process what you said. There's a tiny moment of confusion, and that confusion is what creates that non-native feeling.
I see what you mean. That makes a lot of sense.
So here's a quick drill you can try right now. Say these words out loud and tap your desk or your knee or the table, wherever you are, on the stressed syllable. Ready?
Ready.
Beautiful. Understand. Comfortable. Photography. Economic. Photographer.
I feel that rhythm. That's the heartbeat of English.
The heartbeat of English.
But how can students learn this?
All you have to do is listen, listen, listen. Listen to podcasts, movies, TV series, audiobooks, real-life conversations, anything that you like. Then practice out loud. Say the words out loud so you get used to saying them while also getting used to hearing yourself saying them correctly.
So the same method we've been teaching students again and again? Listen and speak.
Exactly. Okay, culprit number 2, thought groups. This one is huge and almost nobody talks about it.
I think I might know where you're going with this, but let's hear it.
So native speakers don't speak in individual words. We speak in chunks, little groups of meaning, and those chunks have natural pause points.
Right. So, for example, I need to go to the store before it closes. A learner might say every word separately with no natural breaks at all, like this. I need to go to the store before it closes. It's technically correct, but it sounds robotic.
Yes, exactly. Whereas a native speaker says it in thought groups. I need to go to the store before it closes. You hear those little pauses? They're so small, but they're there. Those are thought groups. They're like punctuation for your voice.
So let's practice a few together. Listeners, repeat after us and tap at each pause point. She called me to say she was running late.
She called me to say she was running late.
One more. Every morning, I make a cup of coffee before I check my phone.
Now, just to show you the difference, here's the same sentence without the thought groups, all run together. Every morning I make a cup of coffee before I check my phone. Uncomfortable, right? It feels rushed and hard to follow.
And here it is with the pauses in the wrong places. Every morning, I make a cup of coffee before I check my phone. See how that throws you off? The meaning gets blurry.
Yeah, I hear it.
That's the power of thought groups. They're not just pauses, they're meaning.
The fix is to take any sentence, find the natural breakpoints, usually after a subject or verb phrase, and practice pausing there. It feels strange at first, but it sounds natural immediately.
Love that. So helpful. All right, culprit number 3. This one is my personal favorite because it blows students' minds every time.
What is it?
Weak forms.
Okay, weak forms. Now, before we get into this, we need to say something important. If you are preparing for a formal English exam like the IELTS or the Cambridge Proficiency, you should be pronouncing every word clearly and correctly in your speaking exam. The examiners are assessing your precision. So don't go into your exam using weak forms like wanna and have to.
Yes, thank you for mentioning that, Ben. That's a really important point. The reason we're talking about weak forms today is not to tell you to always speak this way. We're talking about them because understanding weak forms helps explain why natural, native speech sounds the way it does. And it's part of what gives English its rhythm and casual, spoken English.
So what exactly are weak forms?
Small words like to, and, of, for, can, was. These are almost never pronounced the way they look in a dictionary, not in natural, everyday speech.
To becomes t. And becomes un or just un. For becomes f. Can becomes kun.
So, I want to go sounds like I want to go. A cup of tea becomes a cup of tea. I have to leave becomes I have to leave. Fish and chips becomes fish and chips.
And this isn't lazy English. This is English. This is how native speakers talk every single day, in conversations, at work, at home, everywhere.
When learners pronounce every small word fully, I want to go to the store before it closes. Can you come with me? We still know what the meaning is, but it sounds overly formal, textbook-like.
And that's part of what creates that foreign feel we're trying to address. Understanding this helps your listening too. If you've ever watched a TV show and thought, wait, what did they just say? Weak forms are often the reason. Once your ear is trained to hear them, so much more clicks into place.
Let's do a quick shadowing exercise. Shadowing means you listen and you repeat as closely as possible, matching the rhythm, the stress, the weak forms, everything.
Listen to this sentence, pause the podcast, then repeat. I want to go to the store before it closes. Can you come with me?
One more time. Listen, then shadow. I want to go to the store before it closes. Can you come with me?
And one more. We need to pick up some food for dinner and a couple of things for the house.
Great. Even just doing that a few times a day, shadow a sentence, focus on the rhythm, and you'll start to notice a real shift in how natural you sound.
Okay, and we are not leaving you with just theory today. We're going to practice right now.
Take out your phone, open your voice recorder. Yes, right now. And we're going to record 2 versions of the same paragraph.
Here it is. I have to go to the store before it closes. Can you come with me? We need to pick up some food for dinner and a couple of things for the house.
Version 1. Read it slowly, word by word, every word fully pronounced, like a textbook. Version 2. Use everything we just covered. Thought groups, so pause at the natural breaks. Weak forms if you're practicing natural speech, so have to, kun. Stress the important words and let the small ones soften. Then play them back to back. I promise you, you will hear the difference immediately.
And here's our challenge to you. Leave us a comment. Tell us which of these surprised you the most. Was it word stress, thought groups, or weak forms? We read every single comment, and we love to know where you're at.
So let's bring it back to where we started. You've been working so hard on your English, and that work matters. It really does. But if something still felt off and you couldn't figure out why, now you know. It wasn't your accent, it was the rhythm, the music, the invisible patterns that native speakers absorb automatically over years, but that you can start learning deliberately right now.
Word stress, thought groups, weak forms. Start there. And if this episode helped, do us a favor. Share it with one person who's learning English. Not for the algorithm, but because this is genuinely the kind of thing that changes how people speak.
Thanks for listening. See you next time.